Erasmus Evening.
Hi everyone, this is Gabriela Jelonek speaking and you're listening to Erasmus Evening radio show. Today I will broadcast a special episode about Brexit. United Kingdom said goodbye. The historic moment has happened. UK left the European Union after 47 years of the membership, and this means changes for everyone. The UK will temporarily stay in the customs union and single market, and for 11 months transition period until 31st of December 2020, while it negotiates its future relationship with the European Union. What happens now, especially with the higher education, how Erasmus program will look like? I asked about that Adrian Veale from the European Commission, working in DG for Education, Youth, Sport and Culture.
My name is Adrian Veale. I work for the European Commission and its Director General for Education, and I work in the international unit. So we manage a number of the international components of Erasmus+. Erasmus+ is a huge program for education, culture, for education, youth, sports and training, and it has been so successful that we are now looking at a new phase to start in 2021. We're already making plans for a substantial increase in the budget to do more of the successful things that it's been doing up to now. So for students, that means student exchanges, staff exchanges, and we want to try and make sure that we use that new budget to enable new groups of people to take part, so that a greater proportion of population can have some sort of international mobility built into their study period. We're not inventing lots of new things in the program. We want the existing things to be bigger and to work better. One of the new initiatives that we are piloting already this year is to have a type of Erasmus Mundus joint degree program that already exists with a international consortia of universities offering one degree course. We're piloting a phase this year with the Japanese Ministry of Education, which is co-funded by Japan and the EU, for this type of joint degree program to be specifically focused on Japanese universities and scholarships for Japanese students to come to Europe and for European students to go to Japan. We'll have the first results of that in the summer of this year.
Some kind of bilateral exchanges will start, right?
Well, we already have bilateral exchanges between Japanese universities and European universities, but this will be a specific joint program where the content of the program is relevant to Japan, and where the partners are on the one hand from Europe and on the other hand only from Japan. So in that sense, it will be bilateral Euro-Japanese, but it'll be a joint program with a content focus on studies that are relevant to Japan, but which can also be of interest to visiting European students too.
What will change in 2021-2027? Brexit is coming. What will change?
We celebrated 30 years of Erasmus in 2017, and it was very clear then that already there was some controversy about what the European Union was and what its goals should be. I think Brexit has put those in the spotlight. But I think Erasmus was one of the areas where everyone could agree that this is an integral part of what Europe should be about. Promotes understanding. Young people can get a better understanding of other countries' ideas, cultures, and teaching. And so the overall feeling was that Erasmus should be continued, and indeed there's a political will to have a substantial increase in the budget. The EU is perhaps more in the news than usual because of Brexit, but we think that this political will to expand and add extra funding to Erasmus will will remain on the table.
Do you know already what will happen with the United Kingdom after Brexit? Will they stay with Erasmus program? Because there are some countries out of European Union which are participants of Erasmus Plus program.
If the withdrawal agreement that's been negotiated between the EU and the UK is finally ratified by the UK, that will enable the UK to continue in Erasmus Plus as a programme country in the same way as it is at the moment until the end of the programme, that's the end of 2020. For the new programme, we hope that the UK will decide to make use of the provisions for associated countries to maintain that sort of status on the same level as other EU member states. But at the moment, we don't know what the effect of the UK's decision will be, whether there will be a withdrawal agreement or not. So we have to wait and see. But we hope that there will be an ordered withdrawal of the UK, if there is one, rather than a no deal.
As you heard, possibilities of the future of Erasmus program are many, and what is going to happen with Erasmus, no one really knows for now. But there are students from many countries around Europe, around the world, which already participated in Erasmus program, Erasmus Mundus program, and they would like to share with you their experience about intercultural and international exchanges. There are students from Erasmus Mundus Association, which I met in Vienna during their General Assembly meeting last year, 2019, but I'm pretty sure that this experience left mark on their lives forever. So let's listen to that.
Hi, I'm Sakina Fatma and I'm from Pakistan, Islamabad, and I'm here for my Erasmus Mundus joint master's degree in advanced system dependability, and my first year is in Ireland, and it's a great experience. And like for my second year, I'm going to University of St. Andrews, Scotland, and then University of Lorraine in Nancy, France. So I'm just looking forward to a wonderful experience on my way.
So now where are you studying?
I'm in Ireland currently.
We were talking a lot about the changes during this MAGA.
Yep.
So my question is, what Erasmus Mundus changed for you?
Well, it's been 6 months since I started my journey in Erasmus, and I can feel the change in myself. Like, Erasmus has given me so much confidence in myself, and it has made me brave. So I discovered my confidence. After meeting so many people, so many inspirations around me, I have this confidence. No, I can get whatever I set my mind to something, and now I wanted to do something for the community as well. I think I'm really blessed to be a part of this platform, and in future I will definitely wanted to to do something important for the community as well, to give back to my people and to give back to this wonderful world who has gave me so many things. So yeah.
You are one of the specified, let's say, group, because 2 people is already group, because you and your sister got the Erasmus scholarship. That's not that easy.
Yeah, I think now people say that Erasmus Mundus is in their blood. So yeah, it was very challenging, and I think our parents were always with us, and coming from Pakistan, being girls, nobody just imagined that girls going out alone and traveling on their own and doing everything on their own. But I think it's like our parents supported us very well, and for me, my elder sister was an Erasmus scholar, so for me she was a role model. And I think she had to struggle more than me, because she was the one who paved this path for me. So she gave me a direction, and I think it was more challenging for her to find this direction, but I actually got the ready-made direction from her. So I feel honored that both of us are a part of this amazing program. They call us as Erasmus sisters.
That's great.
Hello, my name is Dario Cruz. I am originally from Colombia. I am currently finishing my PhD degree in Madrid, Spain, where I've been living for the past 4 years. And regarding Erasmus Mundus, I started when I did my master's program in nuclear fusion in Belgium, Spain, and the Netherlands. And then from there, I was the program representative for 2 years, and then I moved on to the All-DM organization, which I've been up to now working on the program representative network team.
And we were talking a lot about changes. What Erasmus changed for you?
Oh well, Erasmus changed definitely my point of view. I am from Latin American country. I came first to study outside of the scope of Erasmus Mundus in Italy, but then once I was in Europe, I realized that Europe is so big and it's so really nice to try to get to know different countries, and the Erasmus Mundus scheme allowed me to do this while studying and improving myself and improving my career. So this mobility scheme of Erasmus Mundus, I think, is really important for everybody, Europeans and non-Europeans, but in my case, being a non-European, I think it's an added value that I really appreciate the most.
And personally, maybe like with character?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you get to know people from different cultures, different traditions. It teaches you to be very open to new mentalities. I mean, I think to a certain degree we all have certain preconceptions about people from countries that we don't know, that are far away from us. So actually to go and meet the people from those countries, I think those preconceptions go away and you have a broader view of the world as it is.
I'm Nayara, I'm from Spain, and I did my master's degree in Valencia and Bologna. I'm the program representative of the Webmaster, Work, Organizational and Personal Psychology.
So why Erasmus Mundus? Because you were studying in Europe.
Yeah, in fact, I study psychology in Valencia, but I had always the curiosity of meeting new people from other cultures, so I moved to Germany when I finished my degree. And like I was working with people from many different backgrounds, and I realized that if I wanted to study a master program, it would be with people from all over the globe. So that's why I started looking for programs in which I had the opportunity of living that experience.
Mm-hmm. So were you somewhere on the other continents with Erasmus Mundus?
Yeah. We were people from, like I think from all over the world actually. And many countries like South Africa, Ethiopia, Norway, the Netherlands, Greece, Italy, Germany, also people from Venezuela, Colombia, yeah, like many places, many different places.
So we were talking a lot about changes. What change in Erasmus means for you?
It changed like the way I see now, for example, working in groups. Like it may sound like basic or a simple answer, but before starting the master, I thought like I was able to work with people from many countries, it was easy, and we all have to face like a lot of difficulties like language barriers, and also like imagine in my program, only are allowed to apply psychologists. So we studied the same, but in different countries. And even though it was the same subjects, we had like very different points of view about all the topics we were studying. So at the beginning it was difficult to actually listen to the points of view of other people. We always thought that the way we see things was the right one, and we have to design like cultural transformations or other projects like taking into account our knowledge. So it was very challenging, but after 2 years we learned very good how to do that, and we realized that working together like we could do whatever we wanted.
My name is Dostonbek Nuraliyev. I am from Uzbekistan and I am currently studying in my master program, Erasmus program. It is called Smart System Integration. My first semester was in Scotland at Heriot-Watt University, second semester was in Norway, and then third semester was at BME University in Hungary, and now I'm writing my master's thesis project in Scotland at Heriot-Watt University. Changes. So to be honest, I come from very rural area of Uzbekistan. You know, like you can't even imagine that, because sometimes we don't have light in winter time. You know, like the life standards is quite low. A person like me who come from such village like wouldn't like imagine studying abroad like in European countries, you know, like if I didn't have like Erasmus scholarship, I would never have chance to come to these European countries to travel to see the war. I can say, like, I'm sure that it changed my life significantly, and it changed my future as well. I have recently been to US as well, just because of this, you know, like Erasmus. After this, getting Erasmus scholarships, it gave me another opportunity. It opened me another door for my future. And the last thing that I have to tell, that you asked about personality. So, you know, like being in Europe, talking to different people, I learned to be open-minded, you know, like growth-minded, and accept the people around me. Why I am emphasizing the fact that, like, in my culture, you know, like the people often, you know, like gossip or talk about the other people's life, other people's clothing, or even, for example, I can say LGBT like community is not totally accepted in my culture. You know, like now, so being in Europe, this changed my opinion. This changed that we have to accept people as they are. For example, if they wear what they're, despite of their nationality, like despite of their, like, you know, like behavioral or anything else. So that's why I can say that this experience was really, I would say, inspiring, really life-changing.
Are you planning to go back to your country and then share your experience, maybe to inspire someone else?
Definitely, you know, like I have been playing as a role PR representative of my program. I already started sharing experiences with my Uzbek community. After finishing first year of my program, I went to Uzbekistan and I gave a presentation to about 120 people about Erasmus Mundus programs, like in particular about my own program. So when I go back to Uzbekistan, I'm definitely sharing my experience, these opportunities to our Uzbek community. There's one reason behind that, like, you know, Uzbek people are not, like, you know, like they're also as clever as European people or as smart as other people. However, they just don't know about this kind of opportunities. That even I had never heard like about this Erasmus scholarship until my just close friend won the scholarship, you know. Like I heard from him, like I mean, like not from internet, not from anything else. That's why now I'm gonna go and share this experience, and I hope I will shape the other destinies. I will change the other people's life as well.
I'm Jaing. I'm from Malaysia. I have studied in Europe under Erasmus Mundus program from 2012 to 2014. My specialization is chemistry. I studied in France, Italy, and Poland under the Erasmus Mundus program, which is a mobility program. This program, it really changed my life, changed my perspective of how I see this world. Before that, I don't have a chance to travel a lot. But because of this program, it's not just changed my life in terms of academic, it changed my life on how I view and how I adapt this life. I mean, adapting life with the mobility. I learned a lot from this throughout this program, and I also thank you very much for the scholarship that is from the European Commission to let me have a chance to have a study in Europe. This is not everyone have this chance. So thank you very much. I studied in Poland during second semester in Poznan. That time is also very interesting because very interesting period, as one of my classmates is also from Poland. She always take us to introduce us the best thing about Poland and about Poznan. So and also the lecturer there is also very friendly. The facility is also in a high end, which I learned a lot in terms of how I do the research and everything. Yeah, so it's a very memorable.
My name's Amina Al-Halawani. I come from Alexandria, Egypt. Sort of like I did my PhD with an Erasmus Mundus joint doctorate, which was called Cultural Studies in Literary Interzones. And that was managed by the University of Bergamo in Italy. So I spent a semester in Italy at the beginning, and then I went for a year in France, in Perpignan. And then I was very fortunate because I spent a semester in Sydney in Australia before I finished my studies for another year in Germany, in Tübingen.
Wow, that's a huge experience.
Yeah, it's like the Tour du Monde.
So, because during General Assembly this year we are talking a lot about changes, I would like to ask you what Erasmus Mundus gave to you and what changed in your life?
I think Erasmus Mundus gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. I think it was an excellent chance to meet, encounter different cultures and meet different people and understand that life is much more interesting and much more complex than what we can imagine. So I think it's a very beautiful experience in that sense, the diversity that it allows you to experience. And I think that, of course, like after 3 years of all that traveling, and meeting also all your international colleagues, it's impossible to return unchanged, right? So there's always going to be something that you carry with you. I always think of the places that I've went to and all the people that I met, and I think that I carry a little bit of it with me as I go back home.
It's not really common to meet Egyptian women studying here in Europe. Mostly I met men. So I would like to ask you, what does it mean for you personally to be Erasmus Mundus student? Does it change something in your life, or maybe it help you somehow at work or something?
Of course, like I told you, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I think that it's very important whether you're a woman or you're a man. But of course, it's sometimes you're not used to meeting women abroad. But I mean, we have a very high level of education for women in Egypt. Actually, I don't know why. I don't know if there's actually an accurate statistics, or that they don't come to the Erasmus Mundus Association assembly, or I'm not sure, but I definitely am lucky to have experienced that Erasmus Mundus experience and to be here this year.
Mm-hmm. How you use your skills that you improved during your all international levels of studies?
I've been back home for a year now. I finished my PhD last year, so I've been home for a year now, and I got a lecturer position at the University of Alexandria, so I'm teaching at the English department at the Faculty of Arts. A month or so ago, I got also appointed in the project management unit at the university, which is responsible for international affairs and scholarships and grants and so on. And I think that it's my Erasmus experience adds a lot to my work there and to what I can offer, and I hope that I can help others get something of the same opportunity, or at least a taste of studying abroad.
What does it mean in the Egyptian society to study abroad? Is it really common, or how people react for that? For example, your neighbors, your family.
I think it's everybody's dream to study abroad. I think it's in Egypt, it's very much encouraged to study different languages, to have a degree from a foreign university, to get an experience of study abroad. That's something that is very highly valued back home. So if you do it, you're really lucky, and people are they admire that a lot. And it also gives you, it opens doors for you, it gives you excellent opportunities. But also, when you sort of don't get that chance, you're always dreaming of finding a study abroad program.
The same as everywhere.
Yeah, I guess.
Actually,
there's something very special about travel, right? It's not just the academic experience. There's a lot more than that is associated with it, and that's the beauty of the Erasmus Mundus experience in particular.
Erasmus as an intercultural experience is a life-shaking and life-changing experience, that's for sure. I'm a double Erasmus studying as well outside my country, and that's for sure experience that makes you more open-minded and brings you practical example how to communicate with each other and how to cooperate in international environment. About the effects of intercultural exchanges and cooperation, I talked with the United Nations Special Rapporteur. Let's listen to that. That's a very important point of view, which shows you as well what's the impact of international relations between young people, students, then for the politics and world that we are living in.
My name is Rita Izsak-Ndiaye, and I am the member and the rapporteur of the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination.
During EMA General Assembly, we were talking a lot about changes. And you were also, during your presentation, highlighting the point of changes in internet, about hate in internet. How to fight with that? Or should we fight with that?
Yes, the point that I was trying to make like is that we have to be very careful, because we believe that hate speech affects the people who are targeted, the minorities, the vulnerable, the people with disability, or people with a different identity than ours. But the fact is that it actually affects everybody, because if you keep on reading these hate messages, there are a lot of studies and researches that show that it also affects the majority of people, because if you listen to the same negative thoughts all the time, it will make you also accepting these messages more and more. It will make you indifferent, and it neutralizes you. So the problem with leaving hate speech on the internet or in the printed media or ever, the problem with it is that on the long term it will also affect the society in ways that we cannot at the moment assess it. So we don't have to act against it only to defend the minorities, which of course in itself is a very important mission, but also to ensure that people don't sign up to this hate messages and they don't believe that this is the majority opinion.
Actually, in social media we can see that there is mostly more negative comments than positive. How it works?
I think what we need to keep in mind is that people who are interested in starting hate and tensions and conflicts, they are usually louder than an average citizen or a person. They are more organized, they are strategic, they know what they are saying and why they are saying it. And so they would target websites, they would target personal profiles on the internet, and really in a very tactful manner try to destroy the image of these people or of that cause. The problem is that we have a big silent majority of people who don't approve these messages, who don't agree with these messages, but they feel tired to argue. And I think many of us can now look into our own attitudes and maybe say like, yes, this is how I do. Even myself, if I open a website and I see a lot of hate messages, I sometimes shake my head, I'm very upset, but then I would leave the website or I would close my laptop because I would say like, I don't have time for this, I don't have energy for this, I'm very sad to see this happening and I just don't want to say this. The problem, if you do it, if you leave this unattended, if you leave this without a comment, every person who will come to that website, as you said, will just see the hateful messages and will not see that there are other people who think differently. So our responsibility is that if you see something you don't agree with, make a comment. You will be targeted, because since I'm doing this as in a very conscious way, of course I receive a lot of messages and a lot of hatred that comes to me just because I speak up. But I realize that I also trigger a lot of empathy and solidarity, because people would also reach me out to me and would tell me like, thank you for putting that comment because it was exactly my thought and I thought that I was alone. But just because you defended this person, just because you spoke up about something, I realized I'm not alone and you gave me a reassurance that this world is not falling apart. So I think our responsibility is to show that there are these counter opinions to hatred, and to help building a critical mass, because if it's enough of us, we can stop the hatred. And if I can just tell you one little example, when I studied about the Holocaust in the primary school, I could not imagine how people could let that happen, how there were these systematic killings of people and all these atrocities and nobody said anything. I didn't understand it until the migration crisis came to Europe. And I saw how just a few politicians would package it, and how a few people, extremists, would speak against it, and there would be hundreds and thousands and millions who would keep quiet. They would not defend the right to movement, they would not defend the right to seek asylum, and they would just act like they don't see what's happening. And now I understand how the Holocaust could happen. It was because of the silent people who were watching it without acting up. So my message today is to find a way to be active in acting up against hatred and find your own ways to fight against it and be useful for the society.
Increasing Erasmus programs is a way to educate people in that?
I really hope that Erasmus students will also be more active, because first of all, Erasmus students are really the most privileged in our societies. It's not only that they got into higher education, but they also got a scholarship. They can move beyond borders. They can understand different cultures. And because of that, privileged access to information and cultures and peoples and networks and resources, I really have a lot of hopes in Erasmus students that they would bring this experience back to their countries or to their new homes, but they would really recognize how mobility, trans-border friendships and networks have them developing, and how we all need to be very sensitive of giving the same opportunities to others. And I think once you are in this movement, once you are networking, and once you get connected to other people in this world, I think you get more sensitive. And I hope that during these 2 days now, all the students who are here will actually will come up with inspiring ideas on what they can do in their own capacity, but also as an Erasmus Mundus member collectively, to make sure that their opportunities also turns into a responsibility for others, and they can use whatever they have to make sure that others can benefit from their knowledge, their commitment, and there can be shared resources, and really the world can be pushed into a better direction with their help as well.
3.5 years after the Brexit referendum, new chapter for the history of Europe just started. What the future will bring, we'll see. Thank you for today, special Erasmus evening broadcast. My name is Gabriela Jelonek, and you can also follow this broadcast on YouTube and on other channels. Bye!
Erasmus evening.